Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing a fan edit of Pyramids of Mars. Now, this is done by fellow YouTuber Hudson Media, who's a fantastic YouTuber, does great music, does his own takes on classic and modern Who themes, does his own versions of themes from Doctor Who, does like classic Who, what if versions of modern Who episodes that are really good. He does a plethora of things. He's obviously very talented at audio and visual stuff with video and sound. And I've enjoyed a couple of his other videos. I've listened to his Curse of the Blind Man's Stare audio and his At King's Reclusion audio, which I just re-listened to recently, actually, and did a review of. Great story. And so one of my patrons wondered if I had watched this yet, which I hadn't, simply because I had seen Pyramids of Mars more recently, although it has been a little while now. But when the Hammer edit, because Hudson Media has done one in the vein of old school 70s Hammer horror films, and I didn't watch it when it first dropped because it hadn't been that long after Tales of the Tardis had done theirs. And so one of my patrons, Unknown289, had requested for me to watch this version of it, which was something I had wanted to do anyway, so that really worked out in my favor and went ahead and got me cracking on it. So I did go ahead and give it a watch, and there are definitely, it's a mixed bag. There are good things about this edit, there are bad things about this edit, and things that are in the middle, and we're going to discuss that. Now, Pyramids of Mars is a great story. It's one of my favorite Doctor Who stories. This version of it is very good, and if I was ranking a Doctor Who list, this version of it would rank pretty high on the list because it's Pyramids of Mars. And I like the idea of doing this story in a Hammer horror style, because this Doctor Who story really lends itself to a Hammer horror film. Obviously, the Hammer horror films are an influence on the actual story. Pyramids of Mars, season 13 in general, draws a lot of influence from other horror properties. Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, so on and so on, are very influential on the season as a whole. This one obviously drawing from The Mummy, the old Universal ones, also Hammer horror. So it lends itself well to that. I really love how Hudson has done the opening and the closing of these in that Hammer horror style, where you have the Pyramids of Mars logo done in that style like he had on the advertising, which again has a very Hammer horror look to it. And then you have the opening credits in the cursive writing laid on top of a picture of the building, the main building that the episode takes place in, the large manor house, which is used in the opening shot while the opening credits are going. And at the end, a picture of it blowing up with the closing credits, which is very Hammer horror. And then the cursive writing that displays in the opening and closing credits fits the Hammer horror aesthetic perfectly. You keep expecting Vincent Price's name to pop up in the credits, or Peter Cushing, or Christopher Lee, because it matches that well. Not only does it fit the Hammer horror movies, it fits your memory of the Hammer horror movies, how you remember that in your mind, how you're looking. As I was watching those opening credits, I'm like, he's nailed this perfectly. And the music that's playing over the intro and ending credits fits that motif well. The music is a mixed bag in this. There are a couple of scenes where I didn't like the music. There are several scenes where I completely love the music. And then there are scenes where the music is fine, but completely unnecessary. The main piece I didn't like was the opening. When you first see the Doctor in the TARDIS with that iconic shot of him looking up and his conversation with Sarah when she walks out and the Doctor thinks it's Victoria. It has a little playful theme going there, which for me doesn't fit the tone of the scene. Maybe it's because I put such an import on this scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of Doctor Who. It's a very epic scene for me, especially when you see flashbacks of it in the Sarah Jane Adventures and other episodes of modern Doctor Who. That I have this kind of epic music in the back of my head for it. And this music that's playing here just doesn't tonally fit. And that could just be a me thing. That I feel like the music doesn't tonally fit there. I remember that rubbing me the wrong way slightly. Now, a lot of the music I like. I love the music when the butler basically has Sarah and the Doctor leave through the window and they're walking under the windows like this. There's this little playful music that plays there, kind of. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It sounds great. And I love the music that plays, and there's different music, but it always sounds good whenever the mummies are hunting someone. When they're in the woods hunting after someone, it's like stalker music, and I love it. It's like the mummies are stalking you. And the music there fits perfectly, especially since a lot of these scenes after the first part of the story have been given a nighttime tint to make it seem like they're taking place either at night, how old TV shows and stuff used to do night, which was really filmed in the day and darkened, or whether it's taking place in that time around dusk, when it's starting to get dark or not completely dark. And Hudson has ingeniously added in nighttime sound effects too, like little, insect noises, frogs, stuff like that. Little noises you associate hearing at night into the background to give, again, the illusion this is supposed to be taking place at dusk or at night. And the music fits that. It's this really big, it almost gets a kind of makes me think of the music in Psycho on an almost unconscious level, which helps unnerve me a little bit. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but it was a really good choice. So I really liked a lot of those chasing. Also, when the hunter gets killed, when the two mummies kind of crush him with their chest, he added in a crunch sound to really make it a little more graphic, because I've never quite bought that scene. Pyramids of Mars is an almost perfect story. But if there's ever one of the few criticisms I have of it, in general, the regular version, is that part's a little laughable when they crush him with the chest. It's a little laughable, but him adding in that crunching sound effect makes it work. That one scene plays out better in this edit probably than any other version I've seen it, which would be of the original version and the Tales of the TARDIS edit. I'm looking forward to seeing the recreation of the original omnibus from the 70s when that box set comes out. So I love the fact he added in that little crunch sound. That really makes that scene serious, painful, and not laughable. So definitely points for that. And then again, the music that always applies right there is very good. The biggest issue with the music is pretty much from when the Doctor confronts Sutekh on, which would be pretty much the cliffhanger of episode 3 through the finale of the story. There's almost constantly music playing. And it's not that the music that's playing is bad, like when the Doctor is confronting Sutekh, when they're in Sutech's room, and Sutekh, right after he distracts Sutekh and all the way up until the Sutekh possesses him, that whole confrontation, there's music playing. Some really interesting stuff with the violin. And it's not that the music there is bad, but it feels completely unnecessary. This happens throughout that, when they're solving the puzzles. More on that later. And then at the end, when the Doctor is sending Sutekh away, and at the end when they're getting ready to leave, there's a lot of times where there's a lot of music playing that it doesn't need to be there. It's not that the music is bad, so much as it's very unnecessary. I don't even remember in a lot of those scenes in the regular version whether there's any music or not. Because if it's there, it's very subtle. Whereas here, it's kind of going, and while I don't find it bothersome, my mind is going, that doesn't need to be there. That doesn't need to be there. That's a little too much. The scene is powerful enough that it can stand on the dialogue alone. The dialogue and the performances of the dialogue sell that scene. It doesn't need the music to enhance it. And it felt like this is very much a case of less is more. And that the music the whole time, in what would basically be episode 4, most of the music just felt unnecessary. Not bad, it just unnecessary. It didn't need to be there. Now, I love a lot of the updated effects. Like anytime the little pyramid has its lights going, that looks like that's been enhanced and looks really good. I love at the end, whenever Sutech's using his eyes, that's been enhanced and looks really good. That looks even better than the original version. Because it doesn't just look like, eyes that light up. It looks like there's an enhanced glow there. And I like that. It really makes that pop and seem a little more menacing. There's a couple scenes when Sutech's using his powers on the Doctor, and it's done in that side shot when the Doctor's writhing and writhing. That's it, writhing in pain. where that's been enhanced and looks better. I like the time tunnel or time corridor, whichever one you want to call it. The enhanced effects for that look good. They always look good for me. The original effects look good. The Tales of the TARDIS effects for that look good, even though it looks like the time vortex and it's not supposed to be the time vortex. And then the time tunnel effects in the Hammer edit here look really good. I really liked those effects. And like I said, they look like if you didn't know any better, you'd think they were the original effects. They're put in so well. I also like how at the end of the story, when the Doctor traps Sutekh, instead of Sutech's body being there, which can look a little wonky in the original version, it's fine, but I mean, if I wanted to nitpick it, I could. Instead, it's just kind of Sutech's head you see there. I like that it's just the Doctor confronting Sutech's head in the portal, and you see the head get sent away. I like that. That really appealed to me. Early in the episode, when Professor Scarman first steps through and kills the other guy, when he switches from his black outfit to his normal look, there's a little updated effect there where it's like a little flash of green, and then he looks like the Professor again. I like that updated effect. And there's a couple more I can't quite keep track of on the top of my head, but I really liked a lot of the updated effects. Oh, the force field. Anytime they're bumping into the force field in this edit, it's probably the best I've seen the force field look. Cunning Monkeys look pretty good, I think. But, it has this kind of ripple effect, almost like water, and it glows blue, and I really love that updated effect. That was always one issue I had with the original version, is that, they just act like they're walking up and there's nothing there. It's just a little sound effect. I like my force fields to have some kind of effect, so I love that ripple effect that he added there, the little blue flash. That was really, really nice. The edit itself is fine. Obviously, being Pyramids of Mars, I notice when some stuff is missing, but we have a movie-length Hammer horror film version. It's fine. I didn't find anything too egregious. There are some odd places where the episodes normally cut, the cliffhangers. For some reason, when it's a little disjointed when you cut like right from the cliffhanger of episode 2 to 3. I know there's the cliffhanger there. It's a little slightly clunky. I doubt there's any way to get around that. That's probably just the nature of there's supposed to be a cliffhanger there. But I did noticing. I'm like, yeah, that's a little jarring because that's supposed to be a cliffhanger. And then, what was it? Something else. At the end, I hate that you just get this kind of clip show of the puzzles. And they're done kind of in time with a ticking clock. There's this kind of going on in the music right there, and it's switching between. It just kind of gives you a quick montage of the puzzles they solve. I think I like the way Tales of the TARDIS did it better, where they just cut out a lot of the puzzles. You really just had 1 or 2 puzzles. I would have rather it done that, where you kept in 1 or 2 full puzzles instead of just getting a really quick clip show of all the puzzles. Because for someone like me who's familiar with Pyramids of Mars, of course, you know what they're doing. Oh yeah, it's just giving you a quick glimpse of all of the puzzles. But for someone watching it for the first time, they might be a little confused why this would be their first view through Pyramids of Mars. More than likely, if you're watching this edit, you're familiar with Pyramids of Mars, to be fair. And that could be what Hudson was thinking, and he just wanted to get them in there. But the ending of it really does move at a quick pace. Like, the last 8 minutes of it flies by. Because I think it's about 8 minutes left when Scarman and the Doctor are arriving on Mars. And it goes by like that. And I just wish it didn't kind of cliff notes its way through those puzzles. I would have rather it just did more like Tales of the TARDIS and focused on 1 or 2 puzzles. But other than that, it's really, really good. It's an enjoyable watch. I do like the changing of some scenes to, again, that more dusk look. It changes the atmosphere of the story a bit. Gives it a different feel to it. Then, and I like in my head canon, I wonder if it's darker because Sutekh has more influence on the world. Like somehow him almost breaking free, being closer to breaking free, is somehow making the world look a little darker outside. Maybe that seems silly, but I think it's a fun headcanon. And that's why it's a certain, like, once it gets dark, it kind of stays that level of dark. It doesn't get, like, progressively darker. And I like that. The fact that maybe he's exerting his influence to make it darker. That's pretty cool, and I like that. And it does make you watch those scenes slightly differently, which I enjoy. And again, the nighttime sounds added in, and the music that's added in with it has more of a nighttime feel to it. I love that stalking music. Like anytime the mummies are hunting somebody, that music is fantastic. So this is actually a nice way to experience the story. And again, it does a couple things I prefer here with special effects. I also like when Sutekh first gets free and he changes from his mask head to his true head. That's a really cool updated effect as well. So there are definitely a couple things this version does that's the best way. Some of them being special effects, especially the bit when, again, the poacher gets crushed to death and it has that crushing sound. Easily my favorite version of that scene. But then again, there's also a couple things I wasn't as keen on, like sometimes there being music when there doesn't need to be music. It's kind of like John Pertwee's regeneration scene in classic Doctor Who. There's no music there. It doesn't need it. It's impactful from the dialogue and the performances. Whereas I've seen some fan edits where they've added music to that scene, and that's fine. Those are not bad. But it doesn't need music. So some of the stuff here doesn't need music, or if it is, it's so subtle you don't even remember. I can't even remember if some of those scenes have music in the regular version to get my point across. So definitely some positives, definitely some negatives, definitely some stuff in the middle, but a fun edit. I enjoyed it. It's Pyramids of Mars. Of course I'm going to enjoy it. The performances, of course, are always good. And Hudson does a really good job. This has a very professional feel to it. I don't know what Hudson does for a living, but I'm willing to bet it's something in this field. He's obviously very, very talented. I'm looking forward to, I don't think he's put out his 1 hour version of the Sontaran theme yet, but I'm really looking forward to that. So the fan edit of Pyramids of Mars, done in the Hammer horror movie style. Again, love the opening and closing credits. It is absolutely perfect in a Hammer horror movie style for those. I kept expecting Vincent Price to show up, or Peter Cushing, or Christopher Lee. I really enjoyed this one. I do definitely recommend it if you want a nice alternative way to view Pyramids of Mars. There are definitely some strong positives in this version of it. I want to know if you have seen it. What do you like about it? What did you dislike about it? What story would you like to see Hudson maybe tackle next? There's definitely some fun stuff. I wonder if he's ever considered doing like a Hammer horror edit of Brain of Morbius. That could be interesting. So comment down below and let's talk about it. And as always, make sure you check out Hudson's channel, Hudson Media. Fantastic YouTube channel. Fantastic. Make sure you check it out. I also want to remind you to click the subscribe button if you haven't, and the like button, and losing my train of thought here at the end. I also have a P.O. box if you would like to support me on that. This itself was a Patreon request, so there is a link to my Patreon down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Sam, Venning, Finn, Perkins, and Unknown289. I appreciate their support. So do the support of all of my patrons. I have a P.O. box down there. If there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, I love getting fan mail. Makes my day. I also have a link to my Amazon wishlist down there and a link to my Amazon UK wishlist down there as well. Check those out. Most importantly, thank you for watching.